Yo, what's going on? 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 Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? All right, I guess we can get started. Yo. Hey, what's going on, guys? I see you guys here up on Twitch. Abbott, Joint, what's going on? All right, since you guys are here, what I can do is we can just go ahead and get started. Let's go through a couple of things. Holiday shortened week. So we know how those go. It's usually just Chop City. Let's start from, the top and work our way through. So before we get going, we got to play the intro. This is what's going to be on the podcast. Get that beat nice and creamy. Get you guys in the mood to look at some charts, make some money. A to Z trading. December 24th, 2020, Christmas Eve. All right, you know what we need to do. All right. So let's take a look here at the SPY. Let's see what was going on here for the past week. We started the week, came in, there was a big drop coming in on Monday. So this was after the stimulus was passed. We saw a big drop here in SPY, NASDAQ. When we'll look at it, that went down quite a bit as well. But ultimately, it didn't hold. And this kind of is just the MO of the market right now. There's no one out here who wants to sell this. If you want to sell, you want to get short, you just got to stay short term. You got to get in, make whatever you can on that drop, and then get out. Because you could see this, you had a nice drive down, gap down overnight, and then bam, bought it right back up, right back into range, and then chop city for the rest of the week. So what this actually does is it gives us, information and an opportunity. Less for us to be getting this move down, but more than anything, to be able to see that with that move down, we don't have sellers. We could be selling premium on the put side, right? Trying to find some money. If it looks like it just needs to digest and it's going to chop, then we can be selling premium there as well. And that's really what we ended up doing here during the week. If we take a look here at the NASDAQ, the Qs, they did the same exact thing. Monday drop, then just chop city. IWM, this one definitely has shown its strength. This, if you look at it, just nonstop, every day, moving up, moving up. If we go back, look at it on the monthly, on a 6-month chart, looking at a daily, you can see this has just gone essentially just straight vertical for the last 2 months straight. We haven't even had a chance yet to pull back here to the 20. If we ever see that there truly are any sellers coming in, then that would be a nice and easy target for us. We would be looking at it saying, all right, let's see if we can get into to target the 20 with the IWM. Let's take a look at here how some of the other big boys fared this week. Facebook, this is just a mess. This is looking at it here for the week right here, just dribbling lower. Had a pop early in the week, and then it just flopped. And that's really, if you look at the daily going out on a 6-month chart, this is just messy. All you just see is just this going sideways. Nothing here really of any value. I wouldn't be looking into this whatsoever until it really shows us, all right, does it want to break out? Then if we're looking at, here above 300 or below 250, and then what are we going to be looking at as a target? Really, we would just look at this big digestion and consolidation from about 250 to 300. That's a 50-point move. So we would be targeting somewhere in the middle of a 50-point move beyond that. So I'd say we look for, 15, 20 points, looking on it for a vertical or a butterfly of some sort. Let's take a look at Apple. This is the one that I would say is the best, long-term chart right now that we could look at and say this could be a hold. We've had this consolidation here for several months going back to September. And then we had the big news here this week where the news came out that Apple may be going into the car industry and rivaling Tesla. Apple lately, they've been slipping. Maybe the reason why they've been slipping is because they've been focusing on a completely new product, right? AirPods, iPhones, all of that. You see, it's just, a halfway product, nothing like it used to be back in the Steve Jobs days. But now, if behind the scenes they've actually been focusing all of their effort and energy, which would be pretty amazing to keep it locked tight for that long on building an electric car, you better believe this is going to go straight parabolic, okay? Because if they were making money now, everyone is going to be buying an Apple car. I don't need a car, and I'll buy an Apple car, okay? Just because it's just going to be sick. All right, but how are we going to make money off of this? Well, you know what? We need to make money on this trade so that we're going to get that Apple car for free. So what are we looking at doing? Easiest play, number one, you see this. We had a breakout here over the 130. We target easily 138. So what are we doing? We're going out to January. We're buying long call butterflies. We're in 130, 150, 170 call butterflies. Let's say things get really hot and the market starts going into January and super melt up mode, then this may go even higher. We've got some long calls for February out of the money, out at 160. Not thinking that it's really going to go to 160, but we just want to see, a few days where you're going to get a nice push forward on Apple. Those 160s will hopefully catch in a nice profit. We got decent size on that. We lock in that profit and we use those proceeds to fund that long call butterfly that we've purchased. What about Netflix? Another chart that's a mess. You know, we've had a couple of chances where this thing has tried to break out, but filled this gap, couldn't get any traction, fell right back in. And you just see here going back into July, just months and months of consolidation. This is just something just to stay away from. What about Amazon? You know, Amazon, same thing. Look at all these charts. If you looked at Facebook, we saw Netflix, now Amazon. All of these have this similar pattern of just going sideways, right? Just massive consolidation. So, what this could be setting up for here at some point in the future is a pretty good move. But right now, that time is not for a big move. You should not be buying premium. This is a time here where we should be selling premium. And Amazon's been dancing around 3,200 now for quite some time. So if you guys can see here, you know, on your overlay, one of the nice moves that we had here this week was we had this Amazon iron fly that we sold. So early in the week, we sold an iron fly going out into next week for $67.43, essentially making a play on a pin right around 3,200. And what we saw is that it just chopped around 3,200 for several days. When it was doing that, that premium was just burning out of that 67.43, such that we were able to close this trade a day later for a $5 profit. And that's on each tranche that you are selling. So let's say, you know, you sold 3, then that's a cool $15 that you made right there. And in the option world, for those of you who know, $15 translates into 1,500. What else did we do this week? Take a look at it. We had Adobe. So we did a weekly iron fly. You know, again, it's a dead week. It's a holiday week. Volume is thin, volume's light, nothing really making big moves. So we sold the 500 iron fly trying to collect some premium. We sold it on the 22nd for 607, and then we bought it back on the 23rd, one day later, for 479. So on that, we had decent size. We took down for $1.28 in profit. That's easy, you know. It's really forgiving when you're selling options. Even if you're selling something, let's say worst case scenario, you get a move that's going against you. Yeah, you may be underwater, but you're not going to be underwater like you would if you just flat out bought the premium, and then it would really start to bleed. So that was a nice move. You know, shop. We got to get into shop. All right, let's get to shop. You know, this had a real impressive move this week. So what we were looking at here early in the week was we were playing a pin on 1,200 with a weekly and then trying to buy a long call butterfly out to next week. So essentially what the strategy there was going to be was we wanted to collect some premium on a shortened holiday week with limited moves in theory, which obviously wasn't the case with shop, but it still worked out. But anyways, we wanted to collect a little premium, which we did, and we wanted to use that premium to finance a long call butterfly. So if you take a look at the trade that we have here on the screen, and let me pull it up here in my own Twitter so I can look at it together with you guys. All right, so what we did is we sold a couple of iron flies looking at a pin at 1,200 for $32, and we bought for next week a long call butterfly 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, and we bought that for $21. So really what we were looking at there was to see if shop could somehow balance between 1,200 and 1,300 going out to next week. We put that on the 22nd. But what you could see, what happened was shop went crazy, right? Shop just straight broke out. We can see that here on the chart, right? Once it broke out above this, it just went straight up to 1,300 right away. It was all right though, because we were able to close out the iron fly okay? The premium that we were looking to collect, we collected $1.52 in profit on that. And that call butterfly that we had for next week, we just went ahead and locked in the profit. We locked it in early and we took in $5.25 a profit. And again, for those of you new to options, that's 525 bucks. So that was a nice trade. So we collected premium, right? $1.50 on the iron fly we sold, and we collected nice profit on the long call butterfly. Did we close it early? Yeah, in theory, you could say that. In retrospect, you could say that. Looking at it the rest of the day, it just kept running. But look at what happened the following day. You just got a major reversal of that entire move. Really impressive. We always look at that and we call it the buyers shut off. So the idea could be that could this start to bleed and start to move lower? It's possible, but today you saw shop showed some strength, bounce back off over 1200. So you could see that right there. That was the breakout area. And it may just need to just digest this. If it's going to have that big of a move all at once, sometimes what you need is you just need a chance to be able to digest something like that. Let's see, what else do we have? We can take a look at of the big boys. Let's keep going through the list. So we've got Microsoft. Microsoft was showing some strength throughout the whole week. It's really pulled in nicely. Let's come up here on the weekly. On Monday, when everything else in the market was tanking, right? And this was a key. If you guys remember on Monday, when the market gapped down and it drove lower, if you saw that day, you had things like Amazon, you had Microsoft. They actually were green on the day early in the morning. And that's really weird. If you're going to have really big selling that's going to be happening, right, across the board, these big boys, they should be red as well. And these guys, they have so much strength, right, within the S&P, within the NASDAQ, that they alone, they could help bring back a day. And that's really, I think what helped bring back that day. So you could take a look at Microsoft. It just went bam. It just went on Monday, and then it's just been straight chilling up here. So to be honest, Microsoft, it's just a solid company. They make really good products. Essentially, they run the whole world. So what I would say is that long term, if you ever wanted to just have it, buying on dips, you're never going to be wrong. I don't feel on that. But we can see here we've got some nice consolidation going back for about 3 months. And if we're about to, break out here over 225, we set an alert, then that could easily be a nice move that we could be thinking about coming up with some sort of risk reversal where we could target it back up to the 230 level. So likely what I would be thinking that we would be doing is we would be buying 225, 230, 235 call butterfly. And then, likely we'd be looking to see where we could collect some premium to finance that. What about Tesla, right? Big boy Tesla. This is essentially, showed some interesting movement here in the past week. So Tesla got added to the S&P 500. Monday was its first day that it was actually in. Friday, if you guys remember, right at the close, they really just rammed it up into the close. And they took it all the way up to almost 700. Now, what happened on Monday and for the rest of the week, we've just seen Tesla just slowly grinding lower. But what's actually happened, if we take a look here on the daily, there was a perfect touch right here at the 20, right? That would have been, a beautiful buy if you were able to get it. And we've been able to bounce and recover off of that. So if you guys see, we've had this breakout point right over here, right over 650. And today we've closed above it. So I think, looking at Tesla, still looking longer term, looking for some call plays, I think maybe the right move. Nvidia, let's take a look at some of the chip stocks. This thing is just dead. I'll just stay away from it. It's just been chopping around here for, over 3 months now. This isn't doing anything. Google, some interesting antitrust cases that were potentially coming out against them. So what I would say is, this is risky. Doesn't really look that good right now either. You can see that it's broken through the 20. It's bounced off of the 50, but it hasn't had much of a bounce. It's kind of just chopped around and it's gone sideways. And if we see this, and this is, pretty nice, you see this 50 is lining up right here at the top of this gap. I think that's a clear play that we could be looking at, targeting down below to 1650. So if we see any weakness in the market, if there's anything that comes out on Amazon that's negative, or I'm sorry, Google, then we got to be looking at this for potentially going lower. What was another big thing, that we need to talk about from earlier in the week? We got to talk about the banks. So what was going on early in the week that also helped that recovery in the S&P? The banks. So the banks came out on Friday with a new ruling from the Federal Reserve that they can restart buybacks. Yo, what's going on? You guys hear me okay? All right. All right. We see some requests for a couple of charts. So what we can do is we can definitely pull up the purple since we're looking into mattresses. But let me just finish right here talking about the banks. All right. So banks came out. It was strong early in the week off that news that they can restart buybacks. JP Morgan, this thing's just been a beast. Gap and go. I would not be looking at it in any way trying to get in the way of this. If anything, you should be looking at getting long JP Morgan, or if you want to play with, bigger size Goldman. These things, they've been moving, and this just looks straight bullish to me. I would just, get long if you want to play the banks. I just don't mess with them. All right. AMD, we got to take a look here since we were finishing up on the chip stocks. This is my big play here, thinking about this long term. AMD just looks solid. Okay. We've broken out, fallen back into this range, but we just got to see if we can reclaim here what was the prior all time high, this breakout above 95. We got to easily be targeting here this 98. Let's take a look at booking. This is just something you guys just stay away from. The number of false breakouts that have happened here on this shelf that this has been setting up at 2100. I've bought this, I've gotten burned. Just avoid it altogether. Let me just pull this up since I got my fans here in the room. Let's pull up some PRPL. Let's take a look and see what's going on. All right, purple. All right, so, this is purple mattress. You guys heard of this? This is showing some strength. Buyers are coming in. We've had this dip with consolidation that's been going on, and we've broken out. This thing, it may just be getting started. I think this chart looks clean. I don't have any ideas yet as far as, what we could trade. Let's take a look at how their options grid looks. Let's look out to January. You could see here, looking at 30, 35. It's not bad, bid ask. So, there is volume that's out here as well. You could play the options here in PRPL. Looks like there was a decent amount of play going in here, and the 35s out to January. And I think, getting long this is pretty reasonable, to be honest, because with this breakout, this looks like this has got legs. Let's keep going through the charts. Again, if you guys got anything out there you want to hear about, just let me know. I'm going to play you a little bit of sound effects right now just so you guys get something different on the ears. And that's right, the Purple Gang, staying strong. Stay strong, PRPO. All right, let's go through our watch list. Adobe. So you guys saw this. This was a nice play that we had earlier in the week. We sold that premium. Let's just see how things look next week. right? If it's just another sideways week, we got to be looking at this 500 pin again at selling more premium on that. Let's take a look at how that trade went. So Adobe, let me pull it up here in the Twitter that you guys can see there. That's the at A to Z options. Feel free to add, putting the trades up there right now for free. Maybe one day we'll charge, but right now it's just going to be free. Yeah, Adobe. All right, premium collection, December 22nd. We put that trade on. We sold the 500 call and put, and we bought the 510 call and the 490 put. So we were looking for that pin at 500. We sold that for $6.07. This bad boy chopped around for a few days at 500. If we ended up holding it into today, we would have made even more. But we ended up closing it out, and we did pretty well. Let's see, how well did we do? We closed it out for $1.28 profit a day later. So that's not bad. Think about it. You put on a decent amount of size. Let's say you put 5 of those on there. You collect $1.28 overnight. That's easy. Cool 500. And the nice thing about this is that it's not too wide of an iron fly. So your margin requirement is not going to be that high for those of you with small accounts. And like I said, if, something happens and this just blows through, all the strikes, it's not bad. You're certainly going to lose, yes, but it's not going to blow you up like you would if you're just buying stuff naked. PLTR. All right, you guys want to take a look at PLTR. It's not on the watch list, but I'm going to throw PLTR on. I know this is it's a meme stock that's been out there lately. Personally, I don't mess with this. I just play with the big boys. I'm not seeing anything in this that I would be playing. You had this nice parabolic move up, and then now it's just digesting and consolidating. And if you take a look at this, look at what the big boys have been like, all right? Look at Facebook, 3 months going sideways. Amazon, months going sideways. Netflix, months going sideways. So who's to say that PLTR, it couldn't just chop around as well? I don't know. It's out there. If you guys want to gamble, you want to play with things, then go for it. But it's not something that I would be looking into playing right now. All right. We got TTCF. Let's pull up this chart. Let's take a look at what TTCF looks like. All right, we got the Tattooed Chef Ink. All right, I don't know what the Tattooed Chef Ink does. It's a pretty cool name. All right, hopefully it has something to do with ink and cooking some tasty food. But let's look at this chart. All right, for me, I'm not seeing anything here that I would be getting long. Look at how far you've come up from the bottom, right back into all of this digestion and consolidation. This bad boy probably needs to just chill right here. Think of some new ink designs, come up with some new cooking recipes. It's the holidays, probably baking some good food. This bad boy, it may just chop around, so I wouldn't mess with this right now. All right, OV, you got anything you want me to take a look at? Target, Costco, Sam's. All right, the Tattooed Chef you can get at Target, Costco, Sam's. That's good to know. I don't know anyone who goes to Sam's, all right? But if they got it at Costco, then definitely we could check it out. All right, let me go through a couple of more charts. Like I said, you guys come out, let me know if there's anything that you want to look at. Yo, let's try to keep the chat focused, kids. OV, you want a little bit of Roku. All right. Streaming world. Let's take a look at what's going on. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Roku, straight beast. This might as well be the Russell, right? IWM and Roku overlaid, exactly the same. Small cap city Roku. Who the hell do you guys know who uses Roku? All right. I can't think of a single person who I've met who I know who uses Roku. But you know what? This is straight bullish. I wouldn't get in the way. looks like it's just going to be chopping around here, I wouldn't get into this. All right, Fubo. Let's take a look at Fubo. I know this is the latest meme stock that's been going on. This thing is hot. Came out all sorts of upgrades early in the week. Took this thing straight parabolic. And then some unknown analyst came out and just said, all right, you know what? Fubo, it's actually not long. It's a short. You guys don't need to be buying this. This is a sell. And then you see a big gap down, and then you see a move lower. What this thing needs to do, this thing just needs to chill out and just go sideways for a while. Let's see, are people even trading options on this? Let's see what's going on if we're looking out to next week. What kind of volume? Yeah, there's not